Chapter 13 Upside Down Pineapple Parfait. Pulling alongside the front of the strip mall, Penelope dropped Gordon off underneath a shop sign sporting a stylized ice cream cone with a pair of oversized ice cream scoops crossed behind it. The logo was rendered in stainless steel and set inside a cornflower blue circle. After repeating the life-changing ice cream claim, Penelope told Gordon she had a quick errand to run, but would return for him in a few minutes. Forcing aside a rising and surprising anxiety about her leaving him alone, even if only for a few minutes, and facing the ice cream shop solo, Gordon expressed his gratitude for Penelope bringing him to the creamery. After trekking so far beyond the safety of his happy little backyard bubble, Gordon felt his need for mint chocolate chip ice cream had deepened to almost a cellular level. Even if Gordon had the words to articulate this compulsion, the complex nature of this particular ice cream was more than Penelope would ever know. Gordon was saved from any further monosyllabic verbal stutters when Penelope zipped off to her errand in her tiny car. Gordon refitted his mask while feeling self-conscious in his robe and slippers, not that he could do anything about that now. A glance at the business hours on the door informed him that the ice cream shop had only opened within the last hour, which meant that air-polluting and virus-spreading traffic should have been at a minimum. Through the windows, Gordon saw no one but a lanky employee behind the counter. Now or never. Mint chocolate chip awaited. With a deep breath, Gordon pulled the creamery door open and stepped inside. The man working behind the counter was loading a customer-facing display cooler with fresh tubs of ice cream flavors. When the door gave off an electronic chime, he looked up with a lopsided grin. "Welcome to the Thundercone, my guy! My name is Kurt, and I'll be your ice cream hero for the duration of your visit. What creamy confections can I delight you with today?" Gordon stood frozen in the narrow entryway and tried to quickly assess the lay of the land. As someone who rarely left his house, anything new, even something as innocent as an ice cream shop, had the power to quickly overwhelm. To be fair, this was a problem pre-COVID, too. The shop was bright. White floors, walls, and surfaces were punctuated by gleaming stainless steel. The Thundercone's trademark cornflower blue was a tasteful accent that drew attention to ice cream and ingredient labels and borders around the digital menus mounted behind the service counter. The counter itself ran the length of the right side of the shop. An "Order Here" sign hung deep into the store over the farthest end of the counter. Customers would start at the back and then work their way down the counter, making selections, paying at a register, and collecting additional items like utensils and napkins at the front of the store before exiting. The trio of large digital menus displayed the Thundercone's offerings in between slow-motion video clips of the sexiest ice cream Gordon had ever seen. The shots lingered over every tiny detail as anonymous hands wielding a pair of those oversized professional ice cream scoops mixed multi-ingredient masterpieces. It was a lot. "First time at the cone?" Kurt asked from behind the counter, plainly reading Gordon's apprehension even through his face mask. Kurt made a "come on over" gesture while waving a dismissive hand at the menus. "Don't worry about those, my guy. Everything at the Thundercone is made to delight, and menus are just suggestions for people who lack imagination." Gordon shuffled forward as Kurt, his preordained ice cream hero, moved down the service counter until they met under the "Order Here" sign. Every Thundercone creation starts with one of our original ice cream base flavors, made fresh daily, right in the back of the shop. We've got all your staples: chocolate, vanilla, strawberry, and a cornucopia of colorful varieties from cotton candy to cake batter. The tubs were as colorful as Kurt's pitch. Pinks and greens and oranges right alongside all the requisite shades of whites and browns. Kurt lifted a finger. The ice cream itself is super ultra premium with 24 grams of fat per scoop serving. He leaned forward conspiratorially. "That's 2 whole grams more than Cold Stone, my guy, so you know this is the good stuff." He gestured to the front end of the service counter. "After you pick your base, then you do your add-ins. Your chocolates, cookies, fruit, candies, pretty much anything you can imagine. Everything comes in small or large, cup or cone. For serious connoisseurs, we've got ice cream by the pint or the quart. And no matter how you scoop it, every treat comes with the Thundercone guarantee. It is the best damn ice cream you've ever had, or your money back." Kurt planted his palms against the stainless steel countertop and smiled that lopsided grin that was so authentic it actually hurt. "Which brings us to the most important part." The ice cream hero let the statement hang there, silence spreading between them like melting ice cream on the hottest of Florida's summer days. It quickly became more painful than the lopsided grin. After what felt like an interminable moment, Gordon forced himself to clear his throat. What's that?" The grin never left Kurt's face. "My guy," he said, his voice as welcoming as it was lacking in criticism. "What is it you crave?" Underneath Gordon's mask, embarrassment flushed his face. Right, sure, mint, please, mint chocolate chip." Kurt grabbed a pair of stainless steel ice cream scoops with extra wide mouths. "Classic! You got it, my guy. What size?" Big, biggest, please." Kurt pointed at Gordon and winked. "A dude that doesn't mess around. Respect." Gordon watched as Kurt pulled a metal tray from underneath the counter, placing it in front of the tubs of ice cream. The Thundercone employee moved with a casual expertise that suggested he was not only well practiced, but actually enjoyed the work. Which, Gordon mused, was curious, considering how rail thin the tall man was. If Gordon had to guess, He might have wagered that Kurt's metabolism had made a bad deal with a loan shark and was now nowhere to be found. Gordon would have assumed someone who enjoyed slinging ice cream would at least have a little extra padding. Underneath a black apron with the Thundercone's embroidered logo, Kurt wore cargo shorts and a faded red t-shirt with a screen print of Ludwig van Beethoven sticking out his tongue and throwing up devil horns. Nope. Not at all what Gordon would have expected at a life-changing ice cream shop. But then again, maybe that was the point. When Kurt plunged his pair of stainless steel scoops into a tub of ice cream base, Gordon's world melted. And not in a good way. Gordon had expected his ice cream hero to start with the tub of green ice cream, but instead, he dug into a container 2 spaces over. Kurt clacked his first 2 generous scoops onto the metal tray before returning to the tub for more. It was definitely not green. Gordon looked over at the green tub of ice cream, reading the small print on the blue label for the first time. The green ice cream wasn't mint like Gordon had assumed, but matcha green tea, which meant that the Thundercone's base mint ice cream flavor was white. Gordon's mouth dropped open to protest, but an anxious embarrassment kept the words in his throat. He had come this far for mint chocolate chip. The green kind, damn it, accept no motherfucking substitutes. And this alleged life-changing creamery only served white mint? But really, how could Gordon Wegner, cautious, Gordon Wegner, patient, Gordon Wegner, soft-spoken and non-confrontational Gordon Wegner, how could he possibly complain about the color of the Thundercone's mint ice cream? Hey, you gotta use the bathroom or something, buddy? Kurt asked, scooping large chocolate chip chunks into the mound of mint ice cream. He pointed to the back of the shop. Gordon realized that even with his mask, his consternation must have been palpable. No, I'm good. Sorry, Kurt had begun mixing the chocolate into the white mint ice cream, but his movements slowed until they stopped. The ice cream hero was staring at Gordon, studying him over the glass partition. Finally, he lifted a scoop and wagged it at Gordon. Hey, do I know you? Gordon blinked. He had never been to the Thundercone before, and this was the first time in his life that he ever laid eyes on the metabolism-gifted, lopsided grinning ice cream hero named Kurt. I'm sorry, all due respect, seriously, but would you mind just for a second? Kurt made a pulling motion over his own face, suggesting Gordon should pull down his mask. Automatically, awkwardly, Gordon found himself complying, exposing his face to the, possibly, toxic air. Without any visible indication, Gordon held his breath as he counted off the seconds. After he felt a respectable amount of time had passed, It was 3 entire Mississippis. Gordon pulled his N95 back up and refilled his lungs with mask-filtered oxygen. Kurt's curious frown held for another moment, and then recognition dawned. His face morphed back into its default lopsidedness before splitting into an open-mouth grin. "Holy shit!" Kurt breathed out. "You're the guy!" Gordon had no idea what he was talking about. "Abrams versus Abrams," Kurt said. "You wrote that epic takedown of J.J. Abrams' Star Wars sequel trilogy in comparison to Abrams' Star Trek reboot trilogy." Kurt snapped his fingers, trying to recall something else. "Gordon! Wegner! Dude! Me and my friends loved that article. You put into words everything we always thought. Holy shit! I had no idea you were local!" Shortly after the final installment of the Star Wars sequel trilogy was released, Gordon had penned a 10,000-word critical comparison of J.J. Abrams' 2 sci-fi reboot brainchildren. The review was as detailed as it was lengthy, and it cemented Gordon's small corner of the redacted website. The article had turned into an SEO goldmine, and even years later, it routinely pulled thousands of unique readers to the website every month. One of my friends used to run the Videorama up in Orlando, a total fucking cinema nut, and I swear to God, he printed your article across 3 fucking posters, tiny print, the works. He hung them as a shrine in the store. I mean, it was only for a few months before COVID finally killed his business. Fucking VHS rentals in 2020, but still. Kurt had continued mixing and was now reaching for a quart-sized container to pack the ice cream into. He hesitated, taking a second look at Gordon's masked face. His gaze dropped back down to the ice cream. If Kurt had suddenly proclaimed himself psychic, Gordon might have actually believed him. "Are you sure there isn't anything wrong with the ice cream?" Kurt asked. Well..." Gordon shifted, glancing over at the matcha green tea ice cream. Kurt immediately picked up what Gordon was throwing down. "Aw, dude, you were expecting green mint chocolate chip?" Gordon opened his mouth, but embarrassment still strangled his words. He lifted a shoulder instead. Kurt waved one of the scoops. "Dude, it's a Thundercone thing. Corporate believes in a purer kind of creamery, and the green, well, real mint chocolate chip ice cream isn't actually green." Real mint chocolate chip ice cream? The impudence. The shamelessness. The downright audacity. Gordon was once again grateful for the mask that obscured his sour expression. Kurt shook his head as if suddenly remembering Gordon's literary cult status, and to a lesser extent, his earlier corporate line to delight the customer with creamy confections. You know what? It is just food coloring. I gotcha, dude. If you want green, you got green." Kurt crouched to retrieve a bottle from underneath the prep counter. He squirted a dark green liquid into the rough mound of ice cream, and Gordon's gaze shifted into a slow-motion tunnel vision that had probably been inspired by the video clips on the menu. tapered ends of the wide-mouthed scoops plunged into the ultra-high-fat ice cream, pulling it apart before folding it back over itself. Like in the early hours of that morning, before Gordon had begun his unexpected journey, that unique tingling sensation tickled his jaw muscles and warmed his taste buds. Kurt continued to fold and mix the ice cream until the food coloring blended into the white. It was a perfectly imperfect palette of mouth-watering and taste-bud-tingling dark emerald swirls, pale minty greens, and gently tinted whites. When he reached for the empty quart container, Gordon found himself transfixed on a loose chunk of chocolate that had been sitting precariously on a minty ledge. It shifted in the absence of the scoops, dropping with the weight of 1,000-pound boulder into another ledge of perfectly green cream. It was beautiful. "Here, have a taste," Kurt said, reaching over the glass partition with a sample spoon containing a dollop of the ice cream. Gordon quickly held up his hands. "Oh, no, I really couldn't. Oh, thank you, though." Kurt nodded and transferred the sample back to the mothership, deftly scooping and packing the entire creation into the quart container. As he worked, he said, "Delayed gratification. Or, as I like to say, a pleasure delayed is a pleasure savored." He patted his own flat belly. "Nothing but respect for a little self-control, my man." The door chimed, shattering the mesmerizing effect of the Thundercone experience. Penelope poked her head in, pigtails dangling at an angle. "Hey, Gordo, we gotta roll." With well-practiced, expert maneuvers, Kurt swiftly fitted a lid on the container, wiped the sides with a clean rag, and put the order in a small blue paper bag with brown handles. Gordon fumbled with his phone. Do you take tap to pay?" Kurt grinned as he handed the bag to Gordon. "We do, but no worries, my man. This one's on me." "Oh, I can pay, really." "Oh, fuck off, dude. You're a local legend," Kurt insisted. "Hey, it is the least I can do. Seriously, I can't tell you how much that article fucking rocked our world. Come back anytime, and I will let you buy the next one. All right?" Gordon found himself nodding slowly. "All right, okay, sure." "Gordo!" Penelope hissed from the door. Gordon took his order and started for the door before hesitating. He wasn't sure what exactly he was feeling, but there was something warm and pleasant in his chest. Maybe it was coming face to face with the impact of his creative work. Maybe it was this complete stranger throwing company policy out the window to craft the single thing that Gordon needed more than anything else in the world. Maybe it was just a genuine human connection over a shared love of ice cream. He turned back to Kurt. "Hey, thank you. Yeah, I appreciate it. Really." Kurt used both index fingers to point at Gordon, blessing him with one more impossibly charming lopsided grin that no longer carried a hint of hurt in its authenticity. "I appreciate you, my man. Now Get out of here and enjoy that minty marvel. Seriously, Gordo, Penelope said, grabbing Gordon's arm and pulling him outside. The white and green electric smart car was again sitting at the curb, and Penelope hurried around to get behind the wheel. Gordon slid into the passenger seat, cradling his precious ice cream cargo in his lap. Through his mask, Gordon was surprised to detect a pungent chemical smell lingering inside the vehicle. Penelope floored the accelerator, zipping a wide circle through the parking lot. As she pulled to the exit, the pet store at the other end of the strip mall caught Gordon's eyes. Red paint had been splashed across the storefront and was dripping down the windows. The smart car lurched out of the parking lot to the sound of police sirens rising in the distance. Gordon's head pivoted to Penelope and then to the rear of the car where the paint cans from earlier were rolling around, no longer weighed down by their contents. He looked back to Penelope, who finally, reluctantly, met his gaze. So, what's your position on puppy mills? They're fucking shit, right? She said, giving Gordon an awkward smile.